Welcome to this video on Packet Tracer, looking at teaching the new national curricula in computing. Packet Tracer is brought to you from the Cisco Network Academy program as a tool that we use to teach networking in there, working with computing at schools to deliver it as a package to enable schools to teach the new national curricula. In this video we're going to be looking at our topology, our network that we've created to explain all the facets of the internet. We're going to be looking at home networks and how they're built, how we connect to the ISP networks, a little bit about how the internet works, and a very small network obviously, and we'll look at the logical and physical topologies available within Packet Tracer. Okay, here's the topology that we're going to be looking at, one I've obviously already created, and we're going to base all our videos on this topology. So let's have a look. Let's just zoom in a bit. What we've got here is a basic home that we created, Bob's house. He's got his typical router, in this case it's a Linksys one, connected to a wired PC, Bob's PC, connected wirelessly to a laptop and to a tablet. This particular router is connected off to a DSL modem. Now, in most modern routers, the actual DSL modem and the router are combined into one device, but here within Packet Tracer they're shown as two separate devices. It really doesn't matter from a functionality point of view. It's a DSL modem, so it's connected through a telephone line back to the ISP. We've got a rogue laptop wandering around here that we'll worry about later, belonging to somebody called Black Hat. And we've got another home down here, Anne's house with her router. She's connected to a cable modem, which is typical if you're on a cable provider such as Virgin Media. And at her house she's got a PC and a laptop and a PDA. Because she's on a cable modem, she's connected through a coaxial cable, through a cable splitter back again to the ISP. And because her cable provider also provides television down there, then she's got a TV down here to look at. If we go back then into our network, we can look at the ISP in a bit more detail. So what we've done within Packet Tracer, we've clustered the ISP to have a look at it in more detail. If we click on it, it does expand the ISP out for us, but it sometimes gets a bit confusing to see where it's connected. We'll go back. I actually find it easier if we bring in the delete tool and we uncluster it, and that now clearly shows us how our network's connected. So we can see our telephone line coming in from over here, from Bob's house into a DSLAM, which is how we terminate a DSL connection, and the cable connection coming in from Anne's house into a cable modem termination system. Both of these are then connected back over fiber links, which are the red lines here, to repeaters, which then convert the fiber back to Ethernet and come into our ISP switch. When we look at what the ISP provides in terms of services, it's got a DHCP server for all us as end users to get our IP addresses on our routers. It's got a local DNS server, and it's got a local mail server, which typically a lot of ISPs offer. The ISP itself then is obviously quite a long way from where the internet connection is, so we need to come out of the switch in Ethernet through a converter, which converts us back to fiber, over fiber, back again, and off into the internet. Let's have a look at the internet. The internet's again a cluster, so I'm just going to remove the cluster for these, and we can have a little look about what we've provided in the internet. In the internet we've got our main internet router, which is providing us connections to a main DNS server. It's providing us connections to a internet mail server and 3 websites that we'll be able to go and have a look at, bcu.ac.uk, netacad.com and computingatschools.org.uk. So that gives us an overview of what our network looks like in what we call the logical view. It's a logical view because we've not really worried physically where these things are, we've just worried about how they're all interconnected together. You can see there it's quite a big network. If we want to simplify it up again, then all we need to do is get all the devices that form our ISP and rename our cluster the ISP, and get all our devices that are part of the internet, cluster those up, and we'll call those the internet. back to our original diagram. Okay, I've missed a DSLAM out there from the ISP, but you kind of get the idea. So that's our physical topology, logical topology. Okay, so we've looked at the physical logical topology. Let's now have a look at physically what things look like. Well, within Packet Tracer we can actually click on any device and we can have a look at what it actually looks like. So if we were to click on a PC here, we have a physical tab, and in here we get a picture of what the PC might typically look like. Again, it's mainly showing us ports and on-off switches if we've got facilities to do that. So there's an on-off switch here which is quite good. I can actually switch my PC off and on and reboot the thing again. Don't know if you noticed up there as we did that, the line changed date as it went down because we switched our PC off. Again, we can look at the laptop. Got a side view here of our laptop, again power button and showing us our wireless card. When we go and look at the router, it's a typical Linksys router, so there's a picture of it showing us our wide area networking port connecting to the internet and our 4 ports that connect to the LAN. It's showing us the aerials that give us our wireless connectivity. Looking at these areas, you can see it's a wireless end router. If we look at our DSL modems, well, these are just kind of joint boxes, so these are pretty straightforward. They've basically got interfaces in that connect between different types of connections. If we zoom into that, we can see here that we've got an Ethernet port there on our modem, and we've got a telephone line on our modem. So this is a connection that goes off to the internet service provider, and this is the one that goes to your wireless router. As we said, actually these tend to be combined in modern home devices. We've got our laptop there, we're not going to worry about that too much. And down here we've got a TV, we can have a quick look at the TV. TV's on at the moment. We're not getting a picture, we should be, we'll figure out why that is later. There's no particular view of a TV. And if we expand our internet back out again, uncluster that, we've got various devices in here. If we look at our servers, what they look like, again this is typically what a server would look like with a whole range of disks in there, and again a network connection. So it gives us an idea what things physically look like within our network. What it doesn't show us is where they're physically placed in the real world, and that's what this little tab up here does. If we click on this, it goes to the physical workspace, and this gives us a map of our fictitious area. What we've done in here is create a couple of towns. We've got a home city and a main town, and we've got something called the internet there. You can see some connections between them, and we can drill down into them. So if we go into home city and have a look what's in there, we can see we've got an ISP closet, so there's some bits to do with the ISP there, and we've got a couple of homes here, Anne's house and Bob's house. And if we go down into Anne's house, we can see she's got a closet, and there's her laptop floating around inside the house. PDA is there inside the house, and TV's inside the house. And if we go down into the closet, you can see what she's got there. And here are the devices we've seen before. We've got her router, we've got her cable modem and a splitter, and her PC we actually put in the closet with her as well. So it gives you an idea of the physical layout about how these things go. To get back up, we go back up to the closet, back up to the house, sorry, and then back up to the overview. You can see here this rogue laptop that we talked about before, and at the moment what we'll do is we'll stick that just between the two houses to see what the effect is of that in the actual logical workspace. We look at the ISP closet. What's in the ISP closet? Well, typically things like this are rack mounted, so this shows us a 19-inch rack, and in here we've got our terminations for the DSLAM, that's for the telephone network, the DSL network, and our cable termination system. Nothing else there in the rack, and nothing else around the ISP. And we go back out from there, and we can see that from there it went out through and into the main town. Into the main town we've just got the ISP, we've not bothered worrying where it is, we've just put a closet there for the ISP. And in the ISP we've got a lot more stuff. We've got our switch that connects us all together, we've got our DNS servers, DHCP servers, our repeaters that go out to the DSLAMs, and one going out to the internet connection. And it's that much stuff in there, we've needed a second rack where we've got our mail server. So we'll go back out from there and we can go into the internet and have a look. Again, this is just rack mounted equipment. We've got our web servers, our internet switch, our Netcad server, our internet router here, computing at school server, our connection back to the ISP over fiber, and in the second rack we've got a mail server and a DNS server. So you've got quite a good idea there of the overview, and physically where we place devices is taken into account. So you can't have an Ethernet line running between two main towns, and that's why we've had to put fiber conversions in. Now if you remember that rogue laptop, let's just go back to see where it was. You can see at the moment in the physical workspace that's sitting in the wireless area between these two houses. Obviously these circles are giving me the idea of coverage of the wireless. So if we go into Black Hat's laptop and we fire it up and we go and have a look at the wireless configuration and ask it to connect, you'll have a look that at the moment you can see Anne's and Bob's house. He's on quite low percentage because he's at the bit of the periphery of their network, so you can see both of those houses. If we go back into the physical workspace and we just move him a bit so he's just inside Bob's house, and go back and have a look and go back into there and ask him to connect, hey presto, you can only see Bob's house. So what's happening in the physical workspace is actually being reflected in the logical workspace in terms of connectivity. So we'd have to connect him to Bob's house, we'd have to know the wireless password to get into there. So that gives you an overview of the network that we're going to be looking at, how it's laid out, how we've got our end devices over here with consumers. We've got some services being provided by the ISP, and we've got a lot more services being provided by the internet with DNS servers, web servers and mail servers. The next set of videos are going to start having a look at how this network actually works and how we get traffic over it. Thanks for watching.